Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is a really natural contour. It still really enhances all of the different features of the face, but it doesn't give you that like Instagram look that really only looks good with super harsh studio lights and excellent photography. I don't know what to say. In my drugstore haul video, I mentioned that I bought the L'Oreal True Match foundation in N2, and I found that mixing it with the Nars Sheer Glow foundation, this is in Deauville, putting them together helps it last a little bit longer. This one literally like melts off my face. I don't understand why, but it really does. But mixing the two of them kind of helps. I don't really know the science behind it. If someone can help me out, that'd be great. I don't know what dimethyl sextacone and triglyceride benzyl peroxide does. I literally just made those up, but those sound pretty good, huh? I've actually mixed those two foundations up in this little bottle here. I'm going to give it a little shake. It's actually really great to get these little travel bottles if you find yourself mixing a lot of products, which I do. I'm going to take a damp, clean beauty blender, and I'm just going to start getting it all over my face. Something that I've been realizing lately is that less is more, and I think I try to go for a natural look anyway. Most times I don't really like full coverage, but I still feel like I use a little bit too much foundation, so I'm trying to use less. What it basically does is it adds shade and light to parts of your face that maybe don't naturally have shading and lighting there, and that will create the most perfect sort of shape for your face. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is take some of my Pixi Correction Concentrate in Brightening Peach. This is really great for, I mean, I've said it a bunch of times before, but it's basically just this sort of peach color, and it's really great for covering up sort of the bluish, purplish, like bruisey looking dark circles under your eyes, which I have the slightest amount of. So I like to pat this one in because I find that the warmth of my finger really helps to warm it up. Now onto concealer, and if you're wondering the difference between a corrector and a concealer, the corrector is basically a concealer, but it might have a little bit of a stickier consistency because it's meant to be layered under a concealer. It also has a correcting color, so the one that I just applied, the Pixi one, has peach, and that oranginess counteracts the blue and the purple under the eyes. If you're looking for something that corrects more purple, I would go for a yellow. That's on the opposite end of the color wheel. And then for more darker blue, I would go for like pretty much a color like this of orange. Similarly, green is on the other side of the color wheel as red, so if you have a lot of redness, a green sort of primer will also help to cover the redness up. Okay, so speaking of the concealer, I'm using the Rimmel Wake Me Up Anti-Fatigue Effect and Radiant Glow Concealer. Long name. Seems to be common with beauty products, but that's quite fun. While I have these beautiful stripes on my face, and while I continue to blend them in, I just want to say that the whole point of putting the lightness in the center of the face is that it kind of illuminates and projects the face forward, but then you want to sort of keep the outside a little bit more contoured so it recedes back. It gives a sort of dimensionality to the face. Like I've been doing with the foundation and the corrector before, I'm just going to use light dabbing motions. A quick tip for anyone who is not too familiar with how to use a beauty blender: it needs to be damp so that it doesn't absorb so much of the product that you're going to be dealing with the tool, and I really want to emphasize that you should always be dabbing and sort of bouncing it on your face like that with very, very minimal pressure. I've seen a lot of beauty bloggers who have been sort of like wiping it or like swiping down their face, and that is kind of the opposite effect of what you want from a beauty blender. A beauty blender doesn't have sort of lines from brush strokes, and that is what gives you that skin-like sort of poreless effect as you're pressing the product into the skin. If you're swiping, you're also going to get streaks, just like using a brush. So there's really no reason why you should be using a beauty blender instead of a brush if you're going to be swiping on your face. Now, I have expression lines just here under my eyes on the lower lash line, and I find that I always need to set down my concealer. Most people will also find that they need to set down their concealer, but some people don't, and it gives them a beautiful effect not to, but I always find that I have to. This is the Healthy Balance powder by Bourjois. I love it. And a fun fact about a beauty blender, you can use it with powder as well. So, I accidentally picked up way too much, so light, gentle bounces are key. Apparently the most perfect shape to the face that's the most flattering with all different accessories and angles is an oval shaped face. And I pretty much have an oval shaped face, except for I find that it's kind of long. It could be a little bit shorter, so I often find that I'll reduce sections by shading away and making those parts recede. My favorite contour product, honestly, does not get very much better than the Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting powder in medium. I don't know if it comes in any other shade than medium, but it's this really great sort of cool taupey brown, and it has almost a little bit of gray in it, which I think is the best for a shadow. Because if you look at a shadow, it's not chocolate brown, it's not orange, it's sort of like a grayish color, and obviously gray mixed with a few other tones, because if you used actual gray, you'd look like a zombie. So the first place I always like to start is right here in the cheekbone, and that's the hollow that you want to go in. And I'll just blend this out as much as possible. That Kardashian Instagram like stripe is very beautiful, but I think that it looks better in photographs, and in daylight you really don't want like a huge brown streak on your face, because people are going to sort of judge you. I used to do that look every single day, and I got made fun of a lot. So I'm just telling you from personal experience. It only looks good on celebrities. So what I like to do is suck in my cheeks. And that shadow there is actually where you want to contour. You want to emphasize the deepest sort of recession of underneath the cheekbones to really project the top part of your cheekbone out. So I want to make it the deepest, closest to my ear, and then blend it down my face. This is the Tilbury powder and sculpt brush, and it's great because it's got a pointed tip as well as it's really fluffy, so you can blend as well as precisely apply any powder that you're using. And now you can see already I really have more of a triangular shape to my face, which is adding to that idea of my cheekbones being really high and really projected out of my face. Then the next thing I like to go for is jaw. So just putting the tiniest amount of that powder, same powder, under the jaw. And seriously blending, because you don't want people to mistake this contour for like a wrong foundation shade. Next thing I like to do is take a little bit more and put it on the temples here. And then blending all of it up into the hairline. So already you can see that around the perimeters of my face, it looks a lot more sort of receded further back than the center part of my face, which is highlighted with the concealer and kind of pushed forward. I'm just going to take this Real Techniques base shadow brush, and I'm going to take a tiny little bit, seriously the tiniest amount of the powder, and I'm going to contour the nose. So what I always do is I draw a little V under the nose, and then I sculpt down the side of the nose. You'd be surprised how closely you can take your contour in. I sometimes see beauty bloggers sort of drawing the stripe way too far out here. Just poked myself in the eye with my brush. You can really get as close as possible because you will be blending it in circles just like that down the side of your nose. I haven't put any of the powder right here, but I'm just blending what I had on my nose up into the brow bone area. You don't always have to contour your nose, but I find that it adds such a difference. It makes your nose look leaner and longer. A quick tip I have for anyone who has more of a hooked nose, the Romanesque nose, which is actually my favorite shape of nose. what you can do is take, once again, the tiniest bit on your sort of fluffy but more pointed sort of crease brush actually, and you can just draw a little line across your nose there, and that will more emphasize a turned up appearance to your nose. I find that something that people always neglect for contouring is the eyes. The eyes need contouring as well. You've put, you saw me do it. I put foundation, concealer, corrector, and powder on my eyes, and I've completely leveled out all the dimension. And people use a transition eyeshadow color. Transition eyeshadow color is basically recontouring the shadows in your eyes that you lost when you put more foundation over your eyes. So, I'm going to use that same brush I used for my nose, the base shadow brush, and I'm just going to look down into the mirror and add that contour back in. Okay, blend until you don't see anything left. I find one of the biggest mistakes people make is they go like this and they close their eye. You're not walking around with your eyes closed, right? So the best thing to do is to just look downwards into a mirror with your eyes open. And you can do these windshield wiper sort of movements as well as little tiny circles to just buff out those harsh lines. Then I take a tiny little bit more under the eye right here. I don't know a more sophisticated way to say this, but it sort of makes your eyes bulge and it projects them forward. It gives the illusion of bigger eyes. So that is the contour part done. Now let's do the highlight part. I hope you don't mind that I whipped out yet another Kevyn Aucoin product. This is Candlelight, which is a celestial powder by Kevyn Aucoin. This is the Real Techniques contour brush, and what you want to do is put this on the highest points of your face. So if you're looking from where, here's my light, the light's going to hit me. The first thing you're going to see, in my opinion, when I turn my face to the side, is the top of the cheekbone. And anything that you illuminate will look like it's the closest part of your face that's the most projected to the light. So, putting some on the brow bone and down here on the cheek, it really pushes forward this high plane of the face. Do it on the same other side. The next thing is center. So when you're the center of your face, obviously the thing that's actually projected out of your face the most is your nose. So you're going to take some down the bridge of the nose and try to do it as straight as possible, because that's going to, even more so than the contour did, project that optical illusion of straight line down your face. I like to push forward the Cupid's bow as well. Chin. And then the forehead area. If you have a shorter face and you want to make it look longer, omit that sort of blending of the contour into the forehead as I did, and really illuminate the top of your forehead, and that will increase the length. If you have an even longer face than I have, make sure that you contour more alongside the chin, and do not put any of the highlighter on the chin or on the forehead. Just keep it around the nose area. This is what I like to call everyday contour. Obviously I don't have anything in my eyebrows, the lips, not yet. I don't have any blush, which I find makes me look a little bit dead, but this is the most basic, sort of undetectable contour that I can give to you. I find that this just gives you the most natural, non-Instagram contour. One that really emphasizes the cheekbones, gives you that sort of like reverse triangle look to your face that I think is so beautiful, and it's what most of those God-gifted models have with their angelic, beautiful faces that I wish I had. So the combination of pushing planes forward and making the deeper parts recede and enhancing that, that is what highlighting and contouring really is. It's not putting tons of yellow on your sort of like under triangle that you see so popular right now. It's not putting tons and tons of brown in the contour in your cheeks, but it's actually just enhancing what's already there. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, there are 3 different ways to show me the love. The first one is to give me a like by clicking the like button down below. The second one is to leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about the video. Give me suggestions, tips, compliments. Those are always welcome. And the third one is to subscribe so you'll never miss another one of my videos. It's free. Why not? I hope you guys are having a great day, and just remember, just be yourself. Bye.